Hey everyone, I wanted to just go over your communications plan with you. It's the last part of your group project that you will have to do together with your group. So if you haven't checked in with your group, you need to be doing that ASAP. This one is due April 12th. So that's next Sunday night at midnight or before midnight. So here in Module 9, Communications Plan Directions, I'm going to click on that. Okay. So this is a really important piece for implementation of any project or any program. It tells your audiences how they're going to receive the information, what information they need to receive, any directions that they will get. Marketing and advertising for your program is included in that as well. You want to plan almost all of the communications that you possibly can, understanding that you may have to adjust and send added communications as questions arise and things like that. So your group will submit one communications plan together with your groups, and here are the requirements. I will pull up the sample communications chart in just a minute. It is in your eCourseware as well. You may use the chart format and use it as a guide, but your communications should be for your project or program, not for the one that's in this example. You need at least 8 weeks of communication. So if your project is something that happens over one day, you may have 6 weeks of advertising. You may have a communications piece that's a registration piece. You may have reminders to send to your audience about what they need to bring or when they want to show up. And then you may follow up with surveys afterwards or evaluation communications. If you have a 6-week program or project that you are creating this implementation guide for, you can include 6 of those weeks. Maybe you've got a couple weeks of marketing and messaging that's going out 6 weeks during the communications plan. But each group needs to include a total of at least 8 weeks of planned communications. Okay? You need to include communications for each of these phases: planning, implementation, and then post-implementation or follow-up after your event. You need at least 3 forms of communication per week. So this could be an email, it could be a conference call, it could be a face-to-face meeting. Some of your projects include 1 meeting each week. That counts as a communication. It may be a social media post. It may be a flyer you are going to hang up and distribute. But each form will require a separate row in the chart. So you will have at least 24 rows in your chart. And I will show you that chart in just a minute. You've got to include the following for each communication item. So each piece of communication you are sending out or telling your audience, you need to have the date of when it is to be sent out, right? You have to know when you're going to send your communication, why you're sending it. Don't send communications that have no purpose. So make sure you know why you are sending the communication item. Is it to inform your audience about registration directions? Is it to advertise? Is it to help evaluate afterwards? Is it to remind them of when and where to show up or what to bring? What is the key message? So this is the actual copy, the words that you are going to say in that communication. Most of the time, broad communications should be pretty short, so these should not take you a terribly long time to write. Emails should be at most a paragraph. Who is sending it? Who is going to receive it? So this could be a specific individual, or this could be a group of people. So all students at, whatever elementary school. The method of communication. Is it a flyer? Is it a letter? Is it an email? Is it a commercial? Is it a video? And then is follow-up needed? For example, is this something they're going to RSVP to? You will include that as a separate communications item. So if they are registering and then you are going to confirm their registration in a second email, then that is a separate communications item. Okay? So again, due April 24th. April 12th. Sorry, let's do April 12th, next Sunday, as a group submission. Let's go back into this module. Here's the example of the communications plan, okay? So this is about a physical activity promotion plan done by Blue Cross Blue Shield of Minnesota. Again, this is not your project. You're going to make it for your project. This is for this project. But use it as a template, use it as an example, okay? And you can see they tell you, here's how we want you to talk. We want you to have a very positive tone. You want to support their employees becoming active. So you can include a little paragraph at the beginning about what sort of tone you want to convey. What types of messages you should communicate. All right, and then here is the chart or the table that I was referencing. Okay, you see there's a column for date, the topic of communication or purpose. You could call this purpose. What are the key messages? If this is an email, this is where you will write the email. If this is a social media post, you will write what's going in that post. If it's a registration confirmation email, you will tell me what that's going to say. But as you can see, this is just a few sentences here. Who is it going to? So who is the receiver? Who is it coming from? So this is who is sending it. And what are the methods? How's it going to get there? Okay. So you can see they had an announcement letting their employees know, here's what's coming. We're going to be doing this event or this project. And then any other messages that will come through marketing of the event, reminders this is during implementation phase. So as their employees are supposed to be active, they are sending quarterly reminders of how they can be active, who it's to, who it's from. Okay, here's an example of a new policy. Okay, so you can kind of go through that, and each one of your projects will be a little bit different because you have unique circumstances. So again, you need at least 8 weeks, okay, of communications with 3 per week. So 3 rows per week for 8 weeks. And then here's the example of the communications that you might send. The letter to the supervisors, a memo, okay? So please let me know if you have questions about that. Review it with your group. If you're having group issues, please reach out to me and talk to me about it so that I can help you get that settled. And again, this goes to the Dropbox. You will be able to have 2 passes at this like you have every other group submission. So once you get them in the Dropbox, I'll start reviewing them. After that, I'll give you feedback. You'll have a chance to adjust, and then I will give you your grade, just like with your other documents as well. I will still, after I give the grade, I will still give one more round of feedback, and you should take that feedback and apply it to your individual implementation guide. So you will want to make any edits that are left to make after your second submission. You'll want to make any corrections for your individual implementation guide that you are turning in. So hope that helps. Let me know what you need if you still have any questions, and stay in touch. Thanks.